It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
Sports on CBC, presented by Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Veriburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, BioSteel, Hilton Quebec, Michelob Ultra, Wilson, APAR, and by Sun Life.
Welcome in to the 2026 Sun Life Women's Final 8 presented by Michelob and Quebec Hilton. I'm Mo Khan alongside Dana Ross of the University of Toronto Blues. Coach, welcome into the broadcast booth. We have what should be 11 unscripted games of poetry coming up here. A lot to look at here, and we have the first one today against UNB versus Carleton today.
Yeah, I'm excited for the tournament. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, look at these two teams right now, what they have coming through. UNB, the AUS champions, Carleton, the at-large wildcard bid. Carleton's been here a few times. They know what it takes to win at the Nationals. UNB has not been here in a while, but they have the cash sheet to perhaps win this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're ranked second for good reason. They've been ranked all season long, so we can't take them lightly. And Carleton, you know, they have a good history of being at Nationals and winning Nationals, so we can't take them lightly either.
Well, we'll see what they can do. Can Carleton get to the 4th straight Nationals in a row? Finals, that is. They lost last year to Saskatchewan, but they won 2 prior to that. Let's take a look at the key players in this game here. We talk about some of the key stars that we look at for UNB, and of course with Carleton, what they've done so far. For Carleton, KJ Poulain, she's been wonderful, second-team All-Canadian. Can she carry that over in this game, perhaps even deeper into this tournament?
I mean, she's been here before. She's one of those players that won 2 national championships, 2 OUA championships. So she's been at this stage before. She's been an all-star in this tournament before. So we're excited to, see what she got coming into this tournament.
Now on the flip side for UNB, Katie Butt, she's had a wonderful year for the Reds in the AUS. Can she be the destroyer of opponents coming up in this event today?
I mean, she is impactful, I'm going to tell you that. She has the experience of playing inside. She has led her team up until now, so why not?
We look at with Poulain now scoring under 28 game here. When you look at her factor, and you've coached in the OUA, you've seen some of the players. Where does she rank in the overall landscape of OUA players this season?
Oh, she's definitely in that top 5, I would say. She is athletic. She is composed. She's able to shoot it from outside. She's able to, take it to the hoop, but she defends. She defends hard, and she is Carleton's heartbeat.
Can they contain or stop her?
Absolutely. I believe it.
So they can contain her or going to stop her? What do you think they're going to do?
Oh, I mean, they'll have to try.
Try is a key word here with what they can do today. And again, we talked about UNB and their attacking intent with Butts being the key player. That's the thing right now for both these teams. You being a former player, you played on this court, not to make you feel old, 11 years ago. And you did lose in the finals here. But what's going through the players' minds in the opening game that, hey, you're the opening act, but a lot could go into this game here because you win this, you guaranteed to play Saturday and Sunday.
That first game is always difficult, Mo. You get so antsy about this game, so that first minute, you got to let, the stress out a bit. Come back into it, and then play your game afterwards. But it's normal to feel a bit anxious about this. But, these players have been there before, some of them never, but you got to lean on to the people that have been there with you.
So on the flip side, from a coaching perspective, what's going through the staffs right now, the minds, because you prepared pretty much on a short layover. UNB's had a little bit longer time when the AUS 2 weeks ago. OUA playoffs just finished last week.
Yeah.
But that prep time, how critical is it and crucial is it for these teams to kind of get their scheme set and ready to go today?
A wise man once told me that the month of March is the month of players. So you've taught them everything you need to teach them as a coach, and you just got to go out there, have some confidence, and play the game of basketball.
Well, it's a month of players. It's a month of players and storylines we have looking forward to today. It is UNB. It is Carleton coming up. Your tip-off, game 1 of 4 today. We got 4 excellent matchups here. 8 teams enter. 1 team will be the champion by Sunday night. The question is, could it be Carleton? Could it be UNB? We'll find out here at the 2026 Sun Life Women's Final 8, presented by Michelob and Quebec Hilton Hotels. Welcome back here to Laval University. It is game 1 of 4 today. It is UNB. It is Carleton. Carleton 16-6, and UNB 18-2 AUS champions. Both red and white. The opening act of an 11-episode series that will finish up in 3 days. The question is, who will be the Quebec or the Canadian champion from Quebec? The first possession of the day for Carleton inside the teeth and working their way through. It's been a good start for Carleton at this event in years past. Going to get the same effort. And a one and done, still up in the air, and away we go for UNB.
A good start from UNB in that first possession there. Let's see what they got offensively now.
And with it, of course, is UNB, and we talk about this attacking attempt for 3. Splash, first dagger in the heart, and away they go, and they shoot about 31% from long range.
Yeah, I mean, that's a wide open shot for a shooter. It's just, you know, at this stage, you expect that.
McAfee opening it up, shooting 31% from long range, and they're off to a 3-0 start in the first minute of play. Lovely move inside and back into the end line it comes. Pivoting through, and the first 2 going in for Carleton. Dang, opening up her account at Laval.
I love the patience that she has. She uses her pivot well, find an opening at the rim. Love that.
These are 2 teams that were top end when it comes to scoring efforts. You're talking at the number 3 team in Canada. Backdoor, McAfee. Off the heel, rebound, loose ball, second bite for McAfee, a new 14 for UNB.
Yeah, that's going to be important. UNB ranks 8th in the country for offensive rebound with 15.2, so that's something that they're looking to do.
And the rebounding shot for Butt, scoring 14 points a game from Ottawa, Ontario, scoring against the school down the road from where she lived in Ottawa. And a 5-2 lead and a good start for UNB against the Carleton Ravens. Carleton, top 25 scoring team, scoring about 65 a game this season. Being patient in possession. Another missed shot going against Urban, and a one and done for the Carleton Ravens.
I mean, they go to their go-to players, right? They're going to Jackie Urban on that.
And Speedy on the 3, and she shoots 31%, so that's 2 threes in the opening 4 minutes of play here. And if you're UNB, you're in dreamland with the start so far.
I mean, yeah, if you're 8-2 starting the first game of the tournament, you're okay with that. Right now, you just got to make sure that you defend the ball.
And the thing is, Carleton does not defend the three-point ball at all well enough. And away they come again. UNB, they're having their tails up. They're hunting and hounding against the Ravens early going. And the foul will be called as Gaston will go to the line. The Quebecer scoring about 9 points a game this year for the Reds. And right now, it may not be plan A, but it appears Carleton might be on to plan B to get themselves back into this game down by 6.
I mean, it's still early to say, right? They're still trying to find their groove, but they stick to what they know, right? They like to attack their matchup, and that's what they're doing right now. They're missing a bunch of bunnies, but I'm expecting them to start making some right now.
We talked about it before. Of course, you being a foreign player at this level, could nerves be an issue early on for Carleton because, again, they're chasing this game early down by 7.
Absolutely. You never want to start being down in a tournament, right?
And right now, we'll see what they can do. Here is KJ Poulin, who could be a firebrand of a hitter on the court. And here she is with ball control. Carleton, again, very patient, squeezing the clock down the last few possessions that they've had. Off balance and a miss, another cleanup for UNB.
You got to say that they're mismatched and they're working extremely hard. They're being physical in the key, and you know, you got to give it to UNB.
Tough defended by the Ravens. Here they come in transition and try and get point number 4, and they cannot do so on a miss from Oliver. And UNB really doing a good job defending the rebounds in their own end of the court with 6:45 left in this first quarter of play. From 16, Smooth going in, and Butts gets another 2 to her account, and they're up by 9.
There's a reason why she's a 2-time first-team All-Star, right, in the AUS. She's leading her team.
And right now, she's leading her team right through from the corner pocket. And another miss for Carleton off the 3-point shot from Oliver. And away come the Reds. And you have to wonder now, this long-range 3, ambitious, and a rebound. Another chance here for the Reds. And right now, they cannot find the finishing touch. And away comes Carleton going back from one end to the other end. And that's a miss for Poulin. And now a jump ball arrow, and that's going back towards UNB with 6:04 left.
If I'm Carleton, Mo, honestly, I'm not that worried. We are missing a lot of bunnies, but we have great opportunities at the rim, right? And so you just got to put a few. We talked about having a bit of that stress early on. This is what we're talking about.
It's a game of runs. And right now, UNB's had their run, as you see right now in the highlight, that Poulin, that's an easy layup for her. But again, that should go down for Carleton at some point during the game, you'd imagine.
Exactly, right? You don't want Carleton to play in transition if you are UNB.
All right, UNB has taken away the supply line of transition points for Carleton in this first 4 and change. From the 45. And another rebound right back, and a new 14 to UNB, and that goes back to Fredericton in the pass. Miscue from Matosis Adderley, and a first turnover for UNB.
And again, you do not want Kylie Speedy to have open shots at this point. She shoots 31% from the 3-point line.
Dang is out, and now back in the game is Urban. And you're right, they've had 2 threes from the top 3-point hitters, and we'll see if they can contain that. 5:42 left in this first quarter play. 11-2 lead for the AUS champions on Carleton. Poulin, strong step.
Great attack from Poulin right there.
And that's her DNA, and she has that architect of an ability. She created that out of nothing, and that stops the bleeding from UNB, and that's the first foul on the Ravens with 5:23 left in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to make sure that you stay out of foul trouble, right? Especially this early. But again, it's a physical game at this point at Nationals.
And for UNB, it's their first appearance since 2016. Backdoor. And that is an N1, and that is a finish right there for UNB coming in. And talk about Olskamp. She has a wonderful start so far, scoring about 8 points a game, and they're up by a score of 9.
If I'm not mistaken, that is on Urban, and that's her second foul.
And she'll have a respite on the bench for the early going here with them down by 9. And with 5:18 left here in this first quarter play. Olskamp shooting from the line 81%, a rare miscue for the Halifax native. In the game now is Natalie Francis from North Van, BC, second-year player.
That's my fault. That's just one foul on Urban. I thought the first one was on her.
Back over comes Poulin. And that will go in for point number 4. And KJ Poulin, 10 times scored 20 points or more in a game. And if UNB can't stop her, that becomes a talking point for them.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as she sees one going in, she has that confidence to keep going at it.
Another backdoor on the byline. In traffic. Second by the cherry. Kick out, open 3 from the center arc. Missed three, and that's last touch bar Carleton by Dang. This remains UNB ball with 14 left on the shot clock, 4:35 left on the game clock.
We talked about it earlier. Offensive rebound for UNB is going to be extremely important.
You are watching the 2026 U Sports Women's Basketball Championships presented by Sun Life and by Michelob Light in Quebec Hilton. It's 13-6 for UNB over Carleton from St. Foy, Quebec. Stay tuned. CBC Sports is the home of University Sports in Canada. The best U Sports men's volleyball teams battle at the 26th BioSteel Men's Volleyball Championship, March 13th to 15th from the University of Windsor. Catch the action exclusively on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, CBC Sports YouTube, and U Sports on CBC, where the champions are made. And right now, we're game one, and UNB looking like a champion so far in the first six. Miscue by the Reds, and away comes St. Pierre. Back out to Poulain on the one and done from the Reds. Another whistle with 4:18 left, and this will be a foul on UNB.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to cut that transition and really try to stop Poulain in transition right there. So I think they were successful, but again, fouling like that in transition.
We talk about UNB only giving up 56 points a game this year. Only once they gave up 70-plus points, so really points could be at a premium for Carleton if they can't get going early. Poulain in the paint. Open from the flats for three. Bullseye, and a big three and a big sigh of relief for Carleton as they're down by 4.
Again, Poulain being able to play make, even going downhill, being able to find a shooter on the weak side.
And the pirouette finished by Jenkins, and they're back up by 6.
Yeah, when you give you shoot a three and you give a transition, it's just hard to get back into the flow of things, right?
Jenkins has come off the bench. She hits 13-7 in the AUS final. On the rebound, Poulain, whistle, and right now she's creating something out of nothing for the Ravens in this first 6 minutes and change. And
that's why Kiana Jade-Poulain is on the second, all-star team nationally. It's because of all the things she's able to do. She's able to defend at a high clip. She's able to finish at the rim. She shoots the three. She play makes. She does it all for Carleton. She's their heartbeat. The
Montreal native, coached by a person you know very well, Francois René, and yourself, Vanier College.
Yeah. I was able to coach Kiana when she was 15 years old on the Quebec team. So very happy to see her improve her game the way she did.
Vanier's been a pipeline for U Sports and NCAA athletes of late.
Absolutely.
And 2 for 2, and now it's a 4-point lead for UNB over Carleton, and now you see a bit of a press by Carleton to get things a little bit disjointed, and with it at the controls is McAfee. She had a three early on from Lower Knoxford, New Brunswick. Back out to Jenkins from the elbow. Lovely first step, in traffic, in for 2, and that adds to her total scoring 7 a game this year for UNB.
It's impressive. She's able to finish over a 6'4", 6'5" player.
And that ball sent back to the Rideau Canal out of bounds, and it goes back to UNB. And this 6-point lead, and turnovers could be a key factor here, the way things have been playing out so far with these teams playing very close to each other.
Yeah, well, you expect that from two teams that defend at a very high level, right? You want to create turnovers.
And back with it coming through is McIntyre. Tough play, better finish. And so far, things have been gold dust for UNB in this first quarter of play, Diana.
Again, very impressive to be able to go, coast to coast at the rim. But they're playing with so much confidence right now.
Jab step 3. Off the heel. Another rebound for UNB. And now they are pushing. Well read like a DB. Kept alive. Out of bounds. Out of bounds from Oliver, who saw that and telegraphed that pass. It remains UNB possession. And this will be UNB side out with 3:12 left, or 2:53 left exactly on the clock. So far, it has been UNB wire to wire in the scoreboard department. Another stolen ball from Oliver. Here she comes in a 2-on-2. Poulin to her right, and she will wait for the reinforcements. Driving through in the paint, still looking for it. Back out to Poulin, to Oliver for three. And a rebound right back to UNB, and here they come moving forward. Again, a team that scores about 78 points per game this year, and they will go to the free throw line courtesy of Jenkins once again.
Again, you know, finding Catherine Oliver in the corner for three, it's something that Carleton wants. But again, once that shot goes up, we've got to make sure that we prep for the next action, which is transition defense. And, you know, UNB have been able to take advantage of their transition defense.
You talk about Jenkins so far, 2 or 3, 4 points. First free throws of the day. Shooting from the line, 60% this year from St. John's, Newfoundland, that is. Fifth-year player. This UNB team's had so many great stories this past season. We'll get to Kylie Speedy and Katie Butts and what they've done for this program. And a rebound right back over towards Francis. And here come the Ravens down by 9.
This is where she excels. You know, she's missing a bunch of bunnies, but again, in transition, you do not want Kiana Jade-Poulin to go into transition if you're UNB.
Inside the teeth, and a big two-pointer coming in for Matosis Adderley, her first two of that sequence. And they're down by 7.
And that's their first offensive rebound for Carleton.
And another rebound right back to Carleton, and this will go off of the UNB leg of Butts. And you talk about rebounding in this game here. UNB, number 1 in Canada, 46 rebounds per game. Carleton, oh, by the way, number 2 in Canada. So the war on the boards could be a key factor in who could win this game in match number 1 today.
I mean, again, if you are able to rebound offensively the way you do, you give yourself more opportunities to score. That's just the reality of it, right? So Carleton has to do a much better job putting a body on someone once the shot goes up.
Matosis Adderley is fouled, and she will go to the free throw line for the first time today. Scored 11 points 6 times this year, had 14 against McMaster, and 5 times had 6+ rebounds. Taking her first free throws, 54% from the line from Toronto, Ontario, first-year player. And hitting the first free throw and a 6-point lead. And one thing to look at now, tail of the tape as we're almost through 1 quarter play, Coach. Who's got the edge? Is it UNB, or you think Carleton's starting to kind of get back in this game?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're Carleton, you are comfortable with the shot that you got so far. You missed a ton, but it's just the first quarter. At some point, if the shots are still open, that's where I should, you know, I would worry a bit more for UNB.
Bastien. And a rebound right back over to Matosis Adderley. And here come the Ravens. Could this be their run down by 6 with 87 seconds left in this first quarter play? Diana Ross, Mocon on game number 1. And another rebound coming through for Jenkins. She's done it at both ends of the court for UNB.
I gotta say UNB are doing a hell of a good job giving only 1 possession to Carleton and not extra possession off of offensive rebounds. So they've been really securing it well and also doing the opposite, grabbing a bunch of offensive rebounds.
Quite the resistance presented by UNB so far from 16. Left on the game clock, 6 left on the shot clock. Posting their way through. Tough play and a tougher finish. And now the jump ball pointing towards Carleton with 30 seconds left off the miss initially coming off the hands. And this will be Carleton ball. And this will be in the end line for Carleton. They'll get 14 left, or will it be, I would imagine, it'll be 14 seconds left, it'll be 1 second left. So really not much in the Rolodex of options on a 1 second shot clock to work with.
Yeah, it's going to be a catch and shoot over the top or something.
It'll be a forensic touch of the ball by a player in black if they can get the ball towards the rim. From the end line, could they get a quality shot on? Poulin at the death.
Oh,
End for 2. And air of confidence from KJ Poulin so far in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, she's generating something out of nothing, like you said.
And here is Speedy, who can generate plenty of things. And not that time. Another rebound. And this is back to Carleton with 10 left on the game clock. Poulin's got numbers flooding forward. Will she go for glory? Poulin off balance, in for 2, and they're down by 4. Last roll of dice for UNB at the death. And at the end of 1, it's UNB 22, Carleton 18. Round 1 going to the team in white and red over the team in black and red. We're through the first quarter of play. UNB up by 4. Quarter number 2 coming up here from Laval, Quebec. Stay tuned.
Belle année, territoire du Nord-Ouest. Le berceau du hockey. On y trouve une communauté riche en histoire et en tradition que Quaker voulait surprendre avec une toute nouvelle cantine déjeuner Quaker dans son aréna. En plus d'offrir notre avoine canadienne à grains entiers, la cantine est maintenant l'endroit pour se rassembler, manger et célébrer. Nous sommes fiers d'alimenter la passion du hockey dans son village d'origine, parce que peu importe d'où tu viens, t'es capable.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks. Just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Welcome back here to Laval University. It is the 2026 Women's U Sports Final 8 presented by Sun Life, Michelob Light, and Quebec Hilton. Diana Ross, head coach of the University of Toronto Varsity Blues, Mo Khan on this Thursday afternoon. Coach, we look at these stats right now, and the one stat that really sticks out if you are a fan of UNB is the rebounding numbers. They've had the monopoly so far, and that number is 16 rebounds compared to the 8, so almost a 2-to-1 ratio pretty much with UNB dominating the board so far.
Yeah, what I'm looking at right now is the offensive rebound, right? Right now, UNB has 5 offensive rebounds. Now, when you look at it in the season, UNB averaged about 15 offensive rebounds a game, and now they're on track for 20, right? And so they're giving themselves way more opportunities to score the basket at this point.
What's key now for Carleton to get back in this game down by 4? They've been chasing it since quarter number 1 from tip-off to present.
I think they continue to play in transition, right? They keep leaning on Kiana Jade-Poulin, but most importantly, you got to finish possessions. You got to put a body on someone so that you can get back in transition.
And that is a miss, and that is a foul. And for UNB, what was the key for them? Because their shooting was near flawless in the first 4 or 5 minutes of play. A lot of averages will always dictate how shots are made, but could that be kept at a high clip for them going to quarter number 2?
I believe that they give themselves a really good chance with the way they're offensive rebounding right now, and so they get good quality shots after those offensive rebounds. And by doing so, you shoot at a high clip.
And here is Gassam at the line. Only a 52% free throw shooter from Montreal, Quebec. St. Hubert, Quebec, I beg your pardon, the South Shore of Montreal. Coached by Trevor Williams at Dawson College. Another possession for UNB on the miss. Back into the trunk it goes. And that is well defended by Carleton. 5 left in the shot clock for the Reds. Speedy trying to get through for 3. Another rebound right back to UNB, and that does not go through. The second bite of the cherry is not sweet, out of bounds. And for Carleton, breathing a sigh of relief going the other way.
Mo, if I'm not mistaken, this is their 8th offensive rebound. 3 in this first possession coming back in the second quarter.
And you are absolutely correct. See, your eyes are better than my eyes. We both wear glasses, so I can't see those numbers like you can. But you're correct about that 8 offensive rebounds, and that's something that they'll have to plug right away for Carleton's defending of the boards. Poulin, another whistle, and now we're starting to see more fouls accumulate for both teams in the last 3 minutes of action plays we've had from the first to early start second quarter. And this will be on Matasis Adley, her first personal foul of the day, and still Carleton ball with him down by 5. Poulin. Back door, trying to find the way through and still being patient with 8 left in shot clock, and that ball is sent to the open area. Here is Oliver going through, double team, tough shot. The idea was there, but the execution was not for Carleton.
Yeah, I think UNB defended really well on that. They weren't forcing any rotation defensively, and so they were able to guard their yard, and that's very important in this situation here.
Right now, Poulin has 10 of the 18 points for Carleton. Gassam can't finish that, and that's another rebound for Carleton. Here they come back the other way. Can they chip away, get this down to maybe 3, if not lesser than that? Poulin blows a tire, and now in a fight with Speedy, and there is now a twister of bodies in there. Jump ball arrow point towards Carleton with 8:41 left.
As you can see here, coming into the second quarter, they were able to close in on Kiana Jade-Poulin, knowing that she has 10 points out of 18.
And so far, she's been the chief destroyer of scoring the points. And here is Poulin for 3. Smooth. And that's a big shot for a 2-point confirmed. Now they're down by 3.
Right. That's why she's so dangerous. She's able to do it all for them.
Poulin's one of those game wreckers out there. Post play, open play, and that's an easy play for Butts. And that's been her DNA inside the paint so far for UNB.
I mean, you know, kudos to UNB to be able to share the ball the way they just did.
And that is Poulin, and that is a 3. And that's a miss for the Ravens. Offensive rebound for Carleton again. Poulin, she had the monopoly of touches. And that's too strong of a touch coming off of Francis' hands, and a rebound for UNB the other way.
Again, shots that they are comfortable with and that they want out of their forwards. So
Speedy for 3. Off the heel, and a recovery in time for Richardson. And here come the Ravens with 7:42 left in this first half. From the flats, a miss for Oliver, poked out of bounds. It remains Carleton ball with 14 left in the shot clock.
You know, Mo, on both sides, if I'm a coach there, I would be really angry with the fact that we're leaving shooters open all game long.
And in that case, what do you do to adjust that? Because, again, as a coach, from your perspective, that has to be kind of taken care of and not have any leaks.
Absolutely. So kind of help them be a bit mindful in transition, talking it out and finding shooters so that they don't end up having open shots.
Poulin, she's fouled. And that was done by Jenkins, who will be the guilty character on that with 7:34 left, and Poulin at the line once again. So right now for Carleton, the supply line of points is coming from KJ Poulin, but who's got to step up beyond her name to give her some help scoring points for Carleton today?
I mean, Catherine Oliver has been very resourceful for Carleton this year. If she's able to knock a few open shots, that's going to be helpful for Kiana to find a bit more space to maneuver. When Jackie Urban comes back onto it, she's definitely a scoring threat as well. So, but most importantly, we've got to make sure that we end possessions here so that we don't allow UNB to get in transition or have offensive rebounding.
Well, that transition does not go through for Jenkins. Remember, UNB is not beaten Carleton. They're 0-3 in their head-to-head series. And another foul will be called on UNB, which will be their 13th foul, I believe, with 7:20 left here in this first quarter play.
I have made a mistake earlier on, but Jackie Urban has 3 fouls.
So maybe it was a scorekeeper's issue, not your problem.
Yeah.
I always blame the score table on that for 3.
I mean, I'll take accountability for talking it out, but I was surprised she was not on, and that makes a lot of sense. She picked up her 3rd foul in the first quarter.
So she'll have a vacation on the bench for the time being. Back out it comes. And back in the post. Backdoor, 1 pass too many, and here is Poulin, a 3-on-2 for the Ravens. Cutting through, backdoor byline, and that does not go through. Another rebound on a miss from Beatty, and away comes UNB.
Again, kudos to UNB to be able to secure that rebound.
And that's a security rebound right there, and Butts can't finish. Rebound again for Poulin. And another whistle, and you can see the pantomime reaction from the UNB bench on the fouls going against the team in white and red and black.
If you look at it, Mo, they are hounding Kiana Jade-Poulin. Every time she catches the ball, there's at least 2 bodies at her. When she rebounds, there's, it's physical.
And right now, we thought this was going to be a F1 race of scoring points here, but it's kind of slowed down here, the supply line of points. 3-point lead for UNB over Carleton, but UNB has kind of gone cold of late, not finding the same success in the field goal territory that they once had in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think after that first possession of 3 offensive rebounds, they've done a much better job securing and finishing possessions, right? And so that helps a lot because now your defense is not in full rotation.
St. Pierre back in the game, post play. Strong and authoritative from Francis. The Vancouver Native getting her first 2 this quarter. They're down by 1.
again, that's what they do, right? They're able to play their mismatches, and they're able to go inside and, play off of bunnies. And now they just made a few.
Butts will take it herself against Francis, 2 Dreadnoughts. And that time, the Ottawa native getting her 2 points. They're back up by 3.
Can you just see her patience? There's so much, experience in that.
Pace and power from the flats. Another missed 3 for Carleton, and so far they're 1 of 7 from long range. Butts, the conductor of the orchestra for this offense. Gas now inside, well defended by Carleton. Ravens back in transition, they'll slow it down. And you said it before, Coach, they're trying to really find more resistance from the Carleton defending than before.
Yeah, and all of this without, their OUA third team all-star, which is Jackie Urban, and so they're only down 3 right now.
And we'll see now with McAfee back in transition. Here is a layup, and there's the finish confirmed by Jenkins. So the bigs really playing a big part for UNB in the paint so far today.
Absolutely, and in transition too.
They have 16 points in the paint in this first half of action. St. Pierre back out, repelled away by UNB. And here they come. Up by 5, could it be up by 7? And a foul call instead as McAfee will be going to the line from New Brunswick.
Right, Mo. The last few possession has been in transition, either full transition or either early offense, and they're able to find opportunities at the rim without running any actions at all.
And at the line will be McAfee shooting 71% from the free throw line this season. McAfee this year, when we talk about her effort, 5 points, 4 assists, 5 steals in the AUS final, 13 times scored 10-plus points, 10 times had 4-plus assists in the game. So we talk about her scoring ability. She's got the magic ability to find the pass or 2 along the way. And they're up by 6 with 5:03 left in this first half. And 2 for 2, they're up by 7. Just when you think Carleton's getting back in the game, UNB goes on a surge of points. Poulain losing the handle, out of bounds. Unforced error, and back to UNB it goes. And as you said before, UNB really started to find its way through. Timeout call in the court. You're watching the 2026 Women's Final 8 presented by Sun Life, Michelob Light, and Quebec Hilton from Laval, Quebec. It's UNB 31, Carleton 24.
Feel every hit, goal, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline, immersing you in the game like never before, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. We deliver unparalleled simplicity and tailor-made digital broadcasting solutions crafted to make you feel every moment in a way like never before. Our passionate team ensures your message reaches audiences reliably every time. Proudly Canadian, we bring a touch of innovation and our passion to the world stage. ISI Live, be there.
Delaney, Northwest Territories, the birthplace of hockey. Here, you'll find a community full of history and tradition. A community that Quaker surprised by transforming their arena kitchen into a Quaker breakfast bar. Stocked with our Canadian whole grain oats, it's now a place to gather, to eat, and to celebrate. We're proud to feed the passion for hockey in the place where it all started. Because we believe no matter where you're from, you've got this.
CBC is Canada's home for university sports action. The nation's top university men's basketball teams are in Calgary this weekend for the 26th U Sports Final 8 presented by Student Housing Calgary. Catch the women's game, gold medal game, 5 p.m. East. Don't forget the men's game will follow on Sunday at 7 p.m. East. And we know that there's actually double teams. There's 5 teams that have teams at the men's and women's. TMU being one, Carleton being another, Laval being another as well, UBC being another as well. So there's a lot of action for both these schools all weekend long, whether it's in St. Foy or in Calgary, Alberta.
Now, Carleton just upped their intensity, on defense in full court, and they just turned it over.
And Poulain back with it. 7-point lead with 4:40 left in this first half of play. Here is Oliver behind the back. She goes from the free throw line. And that's smooth for her, and they're down by 5.
That's a tough shot.
Carleton trying to make it the 4th straight appearance in the finals. They lost to USask last year. They won it 2 years in a row prior to that. McAfee. Back over to Butts. McAfee, the interplay not as smooth. It remains, and now goes back to Carleton with 4:17 left in this first half of play.
Yeah, you can see in the first quarter, the key was a bit more open. Now in the second quarter, we were able to adjust and have a bit more presence in that key, so no easy passes inside anymore.
Some key numbers to look at right now. 12 of 31 for UNB on the field, 9 of 26 for Carleton. And here is Poulin, reason A and why they're still in this game, down by 5. Pushed away, kept away for the moment. Back out to Carleton it comes. 8 left in the shot clock to work with. Oliver, here's Poulin. Will she fancy the shot? 4 left to go. Nowhere to go. Oliver. And a rebound for UNB.
Yeah, they were really able to stop Poulin on that to create any opportunities for herself, but still got a shot up from Oliver.
Butts finding Gasson now, trying to work her way through in the jungle. Butts from the free throw line. That's too strong. Oliver on the rebound with 3:30 left in this first half of play. Oliver at the burners on, going from coast to coast, off balance, and will go to the free throw line. And you can see that she's showing more freedom, less risk in the last few minutes of play than before.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we see in Poulin, and now we're seeing it in Oliver a bit more, being able to play make and help Poulin out and stretch that defense, and especially in transition.
Who does this flow favor right now? Does it flow favor UNB or Carleton?
I think Carleton, actually, because they are playing the style of play that they want. They are missing a few baskets, but they're able to play in transition, whereas UNB really capitalize on offensive rebounding, but still in transition. So let's see how it goes now.
Offensive rebound for Carleton. The twist and turn, one pass, one step too many. A marché called. And unfortunately for Dang, lost her GPS data, and now we'll go back to UNB.
All right, you can see here they're setting up to be in a full court, man-to-man. Sorry, I should say player-to-player.
And right now it is Speedy, who's one of the top players on this UNB roster, trying to get through again. Butts, Speedy, the 1-2 punch. Butts looking for the backdoor cut, can't find it. Switch of play, open, extra pass. Here is McAfee. Butts to the cleanup. And that will find its way through a sea of hands, still going with it. St. Pierre in a tug of war with Travers, and that will be a jump ball, and it will remain UNB possession with 2:59 left in this first half.
Hey, you gotta love how hard they're working right now. You see bodies on the ground, you see, people working together. I love the energy and the effort from both teams.
Timeout called on the court right now. 2:59 left here. Diana Ross, Mo Khan from St. Paul, Quebec. Game number 1. Our next game after that will be a Can West RSQ battle. It will be the Calgary Dinos, the Can West champions, taking on the Quebec champions in the McGill Martlets. And you, Diana Ross, being a former Martlet, you were on this court many years ago.
Yes.
Not to make you feel old, but you were on this court. You know what it is to win those tough games, but also have those tough losses as you did here.
Absolutely.
And that first game, you said it before, that first game is sort of like a sigh of relief. You win that game, you kind of breathe a little bit because now you're one step closer towards being the women's champion by Sunday evening.
Yeah, exactly. This first game, what it is that you're trying to get to a medal round, basically. And, there's teams, like you said, UNB has, their first time in 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's been a while, and so there's a bit of anxiety or a bit of nerves starting the game. Same thing for McGill. They haven't been here since 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
7 years they've not been. They had a 7-year run of making it, as you know, and they've gone 7 years without being at the Nationals.
And so there's those nerves, but again, everyone is dying to be out here in this tournament this weekend, right? So you just got to enjoy the moment.
Quebec is the center point for women's university basketball here at the Sun Life Women's Final Eights from St. Paul, Quebec. Day 1, game number 1. We have 3 more to go after this today, but right now we have a good one between UNB and Carleton. And you see why Katie Butts is one of the best in the AOS, back up by 6.
Yeah, there's a miscommunication between the Carleton players right there, allowing Butts to be wide open at the rim.
Butts is the nuts and bolts of this attacking intent. St. Pierre back in, off balance, too strong off the miss from Francis. She's 0-2 from the paint so far. Here's Gaston now back with it.
A great effort by Saint-Pierre here, stopping the transition.
Well defended by Dang, and here comes St. Pierre. 3-on-2 for the Ravens. St. Pierre, the teardrop. And the Cavalier coming up with the 2. They're down by 4.
Right, we see the Carleton coach is excited about the idea of coming back in transition, making sure that we don't allow any easy buckets here.
McAfee back with it. Poulin giving her left. And that ball sent towards Moncton. And this goes back to Carleton with 2:07 left and a 4-point lead. And now back in the game for this next sequence will be number 15 in Hannah Beatty.
Yeah, I think Carleton is exactly where they want to be right now after being down 7 in that first quarter.
So right now, with this game being nip and tuck, still a 4-point lead, when do these teams start going shorter on the benches? Because you're playing more of the rotation, but at some point you want to go best on best, would you not?
But absolutely, I think, going into that second half, it's going to be looking like that. But again, you've got to remember that their top 2 player, which is, Jackie Urban, is still on the bench right now with 3 fouls. And so this game is, within reach without their top 2 scorer.
Poulin. Dang, no good. Rebound right back to Gassam, and that will be back to UNB with 1:50 left in this first half of play. They've led wire to wire, and looking to have this lead extend even more than where it is at 4 points. Open chance for Speedy. A lot of ball movement. The 3 off the heel. And the rebound right back over to Dang, and a one-and-done for UNB.
A much better way to defend that flare screen on Speedy, which they allowed in that first quarter.
And Poulin being speedy on that finish, and all of a sudden, it's now a 2-point lead for UNB. Timeout called by the Reds, and Poulin with the drive right there, as you see, Coach, on that finish. And again, KJ Poulin has been wonderful so far. Out of the 31 points that they scored, she has 16. She's on pace for a 30-plus point game today against UNB.
I mean, again, it's something that we expect out of Poulin, making sure she's been on the stage before, right? She knows what it is. She knows the level of play to come out at nationals and compete at a high level. And so I'm not really surprised with, KJ Poulin to do what she's doing right now. Now, the other piece is they really did a better job adjusting to UNB's action, right? Off of that flare screen, those first couple shots from Speedy were wide open. Now she doesn't allow her to get those shots open because she was able to play off of it.
Right now for UNB, they set the standards of what they were in the AUS, and they've carried it over, but you're absolutely right about that. And now with so much little time left here, do you still think Carleton has momentum? Because it feels like they're starting to gain that mojo late in this first half.
Yeah, I mean, the game of basketball is a game of runs, all right? UNB started a run earlier on. Now Carleton is back into their run. And so now you just hope, if you are UNB, to close out this minute and 26 with a run of yourself, and you just got to be solid. And I think they've been pretty solid all game long.
This is the best on best right now in Canada, and we're seeing the best effort from both teams. UNB up by 2. Here is Butts with it. Speedy for 3. And a rebound for St. Pierre. And
I mean, if you come out of a timeout and you get your best shooter the best shot, you're comfortable with the misses.
A chance for Carleton to tie or take the lead. Matosis Adderley. Here's Dang for the tie. Parity back in play with 54 seconds left. And Carleton now have UNB on their heels, and they're on their toes, attacking with intent. Speedy's been quiet so far. Being buzzed by Poulin off the ankle. Adderley getting that ball back for Carleton. Jump ball, and it goes back to Carleton with 38 seconds left in his first half.
Yeah, you can see Carleton up their intensity on the ball. Their ball pressure is way more intense right now, as you can see. And so that created those turnovers.
And right now, the attacking attitudes for Carleton are showing no fear or intimidation with the bigs for UNB. But halftime cannot come any sooner for UNB in this 33-33 game. And you see right there on the highlight, Matosis Adderley finding Dang, and that was a beautiful twist and turn by her. And if they get the bigs going for Carleton in the paint, Diana, that could be a problem for UNB if they can't control that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is again, the guards being able to create a rotation and, the ducking from the forwards to just have a little bunny underneath that rim there. And so if they're allowed the guards to go that deep into key, that's what's going to happen, right? But I mean, the other piece is the turnover, right? UNB has 8 turnovers so far, and so that allows the Ravens to get into transition, and something you don't want them to if you are UNB.
And a UNB team that hit about 20 turnovers per game, at 26 against Acadia, which was the most. They had only 14 in the AOS final, so already they're more than halfway to that total, and we're not even through the first half in this game. That's the voice of Dana Ross, the head coach of the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. Mo Khan here in game number 1 from St. Paul, Quebec. UNB, Carleton, it's Carleton ball and a chance to get the lead going to halftime, and that would change the team talk for both teams if it ends up being Carleton up by 2.
This would be their first lead of the game, actually.
St. Pierre. Matosas Adderley, the Toronto native. St. Pierre from Sorrel Tracy. Open 3 from the flats. And again, Carleton has not hit the 3-point ball yet, but they get another rebound with 18 seconds left on the game clock. Poulain against Gassam, former Quebec Stage rivals. Poulain, 10 left on the game clock. And that is a one and done. And here comes UNB with a chance to get the lead themselves. From the 45, bullseye! Big shot going in. Travers, 29% from 3. At the end of 1, it's UNB up by 3, 36-33. Quite a change of complexion here on the Travers 3.
Yeah, I mean, they defended really well that last possession, giving no room to breathe to the guards from Carleton, and now allowing a wide open shot in transition. So that's just a great play for UNB.
A great play for UNB. They're up by 3. They're 20 down, 20 to go. And right now, plenty to do. This game's still a balance from St. Foy, Quebec. The 2026 U Sports Women's Final 8, presented by Sun Life, Michelob Light, and Quebec Hilton. We're through one half of play. UNB 36, Carleton 33. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Ann Bastian. I'm a 4th-year student at the University of New Brunswick. I play the guard position for the women's basketball team. I started playing basketball at about 11 or 12 years old. I started playing at recess, and then one of my friends suggested that I try out for the local team, and I did. And I was one of 2 girls on that team, and I played for half a year, and then I played in high school, and then in CJEP, and then now I'm in university. I would say my style of play is very aggressive and fast-paced. I like playing in transition. I believe that my success starts on the defensive end, so I play a lot of defense, aggressive on the ball, and then I like to get my teammates involved as much as I can. I define success through the progress, the process of the journey. I think it's not only through wins or losses. I think it's the lessons that you learn through the losses or the wins. I look up to my parents. They've been a good inspiration for me. Their resilience, their perseverance to get me through where I am today. They've given me countless opportunities in higher education. They give me countless opportunities in basketball. And so I look up to them, and they're great. My teammates have helped me become a better player and person by just being themselves, their personality, and just their joy that they go through life with. I think it's important for me, and I'm able to transfer their joy into my life, and that's how they've been able to help me be a better player in person. The keys to our team's success has been our depth. I think we're really deep. 1 to 12, we can play basketball, we can score the ball, we can contribute however we can, and so each player has an important role. I think 1 through 5 on the court, we're able to succeed at a high level. My greatest accomplishment in basketball has been winning the AUS championship last weekend. It was awesome winning it with my team, and I think we have a great chance to compete at nationals this year. A youth sports student athlete, I would describe it as resilience and perseverance. I think managing both school and basketball at a high level is something that not a lot of people can do, and I think it's great that I'm able to do it.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Urban. I'm a fourth-year student in psychology, and I'm a forward for Carleton University. I originally got started in basketball just for fun. My parents put me in the sport, I think just to have some free time and some physical activity, and then I just fell in love with it from there. I look up to my older sister. She's very hardworking, she's very smart, and she cares deeply about the people in her life, and she's just someone that I aspire to be like. My teammates have helped me become a better player and person by just holding me accountable maybe when it's not my best moments and just being honest with me. They deeply care about me, and it shows me what true love and true friendship means, and it just makes me want to be a better person and give what I receive to others. The keys to my team success this season has been just working hard and pushing through the low moments. I think it's about bending and not breaking and being able to rise to the occasion and just face adversity, but at the same time it's just always doing it together and no one ever being alone. My greatest accomplishment in basketball would be probably the 2 national championships I have won with my team in my first and second year, as well as the following year making it to a national final. I think it's not the end goal that really mattered, it was just about the team that we had and how far we came together. To be a U Sport student athlete, it's very demanding, it can be challenging, but it's also very rewarding, being able to play the sport that you love while also having the opportunity to study and get an education is something very, very special and that I don't take for granted. So it's hard, but it definitely is rewarding. My team is very excited to compete at this national championship this year in Laval. I think we're just excited to play in a different province, in a different gym, and just have a new atmosphere playing against teams that we haven't played against yet this season. And we're just looking forward to doing our best and working hard and giving everything we have on the floor to be successful, so we're really excited.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks, just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
Feel every hit, point, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline. Our passionate team unlocks a world of possibilities with digital broadcasting made simple, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. Proudly Canadian, ISI Live, be there.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
That's embarrassing. You know it's not embarrassing? Using FIG for a home improvement loan. A quick, simple, and transparent offer in minutes. Borrow better with FIG.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Welcome back here to the 2026 U Sports Women's Final 8, presented by Sun Life. Head coach Diana Ross, Mo Khan on this Thursday afternoon. And right now it is UNB up by a score of 36-33. And, Coach, we could talk about this game being a game of runs here, but look at these first half stats as we look at it. It's so far a one-way traffic for UNB, but yet they're only up by 3.
Yeah, and again, I said it earlier, the Ravens didn't have Jackie Urban in probably about 17 minutes of playing time here, and they're still only down by 3. And the biggest thing here is you can see the three-point percentage from UNB at 30% and Carleton at only 12.5, so that's a big difference there. But also on the flip side, on the offensive end, we talked about it a bit earlier, UNB had 8 offensive rebounds and Carleton only 3 of them. They did a much better job adjusting in that second quarter, making sure to not allow UNB more second chances opportunities.
Yeah, the Wilson stats right now showing how it is right now for this game. Look at the individual numbers. KJ Poulain, 16 points. Katie Butts with 10 so far. That's what you expect from the usual suspects when it comes to this level of excellence. You had mentioned Catherine Oliver. She is 2 of 8 for 5 points in this first half. For UNB, it feels like that Kylie Speedy could be the one that can do it, but so far only 3 points. And you can see here for UNB, their transition play was smooth. And here's Speedy. She got the first 3, and that's about it from her so far in this first half.
Again, Carleton did a much better job adjusting to, Speedy shooting threes. So every time that she gets shots now, she has a hand in her face. She has someone closing out to her. So that makes a whole lot of difference. Now, the other piece is you talked about Catherine Oliver. Yes, her percentage right now is not great. She's 2 for 8. But most importantly right now is that she is generating offense and she's moving the ball. And so that makes a whole lot of difference for Carleton's offense compared to only relying on Kiana Jade-Poulain.
And you can see right there, she's been Mrs. Reliable so far at both ends of the court for the Carleton Ravens. Halftime team talk. What's going through that mind right now for both coach staffs as they taught their teams going to the final 20 minutes of this game here?
On the UNB side, talking about the transition defense and making sure that we are not allowing Carleton's guard to get into that key so deep and not creating rotation on the defensive end. On the flip side, you want to push UNB to play in transition and to continue crashing and making sure that we find our open shooters and being confident in those shots once again.
And we look at it right now for that, and again, for what has been so far for Carleton. They had a slow start out of the blocks. They were literally second place in this game. They've been second place for most of the game here. And going into this next half, and Coach, you know very well, being a coach and a former player, that third quarter can really set the tone for the fourth quarter. So what has to change now in the first few minutes? Is it just calm the nerves now? Is this game into your flow and just believing what you have to go with?
Yeah, in the first 3 minutes of this third quarter, it says a lot how you come out of this halftime. And so you gotta. There's no magic recipe to this. You gotta do what you do well, what you did well all season long, right? UNB, if you defended at a high clip all season long, you've got to lock in this first 3 minutes. Same thing for Carleton. If you push transition well and you get opportunities, continue doing that. Yeah.
And for the AUS champions, they are now 20 minutes away from perhaps punching their ticket to semifinals Saturday. They'll get the day off tomorrow, the winning team. The loser will have to play tomorrow in the consolation bracket. And again, if you win the first game, you'll guarantee yourselves 2 more days and a chance at least of a medal of whatever it's gold, silver, or bronze. And we'll see how this plays out for UNB against Carleton in this second half of action here from St. Foy, Quebec. This is the Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Fun 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec on CBC. Coach Diana Ross, Mo Khan, getting ready for second half action here from Laval, Quebec. And don't forget, our next game will be McGill and Calgary. It is the Quebec champions against the Can West champions. A team that many thought, again, for Calgary, for where they were in the group of death with USask and Regina above them. And they came out of the dust of humanity, of what it went through to be the Can West champions. So that game will be fun to watch with the Dinos and Martlets that will play later on this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. tip-off. But right now, Carleton and the Reds, we get ready for second half action. And again, that first 3 minutes, Coach, we're going to have to pay close attention to and who can kind of calm the nerves going towards the second half.
Absolutely. Being a veteran player in Katie Butts, being a veteran player in Kiana Jade-Poulin. Those are all things that are, extremely important, making sure that you can allow your teammates to lean on you and staying, fundamental throughout.
So Jacqueline Urban is back in the game here. So what is the game plan for UNB? Do they attack Urban and see if she'll be more resistant or play a little bit more lax to the defending here? What will you do?
You would try. I would try, honestly, just to see, but without killing the flow offensively. Sometimes when you look to chase something so much, your offense is stagnant.
And this is going to go against UNB, and there was a hold of breath from Carleton thinking that foul's on Urban, and her eyes were bulging for a split second, and she is very happy it was going the other way.
I'd be nervous too.
I think anyone would be nervous with 3 early fouls going into the early second half here. Still a 1-score lead for UNB over Carleton. Coach Dana Ross-Mocon on this Thursday afternoon. Poulin for the tie. That was well off the mark, and again, 3-point shooting so far for Carleton has been not so great. Only 1 of 9. And if this game ends up being a 1-score win for UNB, it might be the 3-point shot that kills Carleton in this game.
Absolutely, but again, those are shots that you're comfortable with your guards taking. They've been doing it all season long, so you just got to continue taking them. But most importantly, got to get to the offensive glass.
Inbound, back out, Dang over. Poulin, space to work with in the lane. And that is an A-plus finish for an A-plus player. And we're down by 1 if you're a Carleton fan.
Kiana Jade-Poulin with already 16 points.
A foul called. Confirmation. We're going the other way. And Gassan will be the culprit on that. So it's a fruitless trip for UNB, and Carleton starting to feel the verve in their legs.
I was holding my breath for Jacqueline Urban right there.
I think many people in Carleton colors are doing that. But that's the thing, though. You said it before. You got to test her if you're UNB, and they're doing that right now to see if she'd be patient or a little bit ticklish. And that is another whistle, and this will be the 3rd team foul, I believe, Coach, on UNB, and we're not even a minute through.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult playing this 3rd quarter with already 3 fouls called.
And we'll see now what will be the course of action for UNB. Poulin, poked away by Gassan, former Vanier Dawson players in the CJUP system in Quebec. Here is Oliver. There goes Oliver. And a rebound right back over it. Diving out there is Dang, and this goes back to Carleton. And there's going to be a confirmation here as there'll be a 2-way conversation, and we're going the other way for UNB. Even Carleton was surprised by that decision initially of their ball. UNB ball with 8:57 left in this 3rd quarter play.
Is this the 3rd foul in the quarter?
I believe it's the 2nd team foul now.
The 2nd team foul, yeah.
So 2 early team fouls on UNB. We're about a minute 10 left into this 3rd quarter play. Here is McAfee. Speedy. Butts. Post play. And that is her foreplay in terms of the strong play that she brings out there. And they're up by 3.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're going to Katie Butts into this, starting this 3rd quarter. They want to go to their all-star player.
And back over comes to Carleton. Here is Bastien. Quiet so far in the first half. Finding Poulin, who's been the box office name for Carleton. Oliver tripped up. 5 left in the shot clock for Carleton. Here's Poulin again. 4 left in the shot clock. Poulin, Oliver for 3. They're now 1 of 10. Reload. Oliver in traffic. Oliver again. 3rd rebound for Carleton in this sequence. And the arrow point towards UNB. So they come up empty not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah, again, coming into this 3rd quarter, we talked about the first 3 minutes. UNB have to do a much better job putting a body on, Carleton's player here. But offensively, they get what they want on for UNB. They're going to their best player. They're going into, high percentage shots. So let's see how that goes into this possessions here.
Jenkins back with it. Gassam now looking. Repelled away. Well defended by Carleton, showing more of the telescopic arms than before, and that will be a travel and a turnover by Gassam. And you can see right now UNB a bit frustrated in the early goings of this 2nd half.
Yeah, I feel like they might feel a bit suffocated with Carleton's defense right now.
And right now the passage of play is not as smooth and serene as it was for UNB. As you see right there, Gassam a little bit frustrated by the movement against her.
Yeah.
And Carleton chasing this game. Can they find a tie in 3 or get this down to 1? Bastien. I beg your pardon, that is Matos Adderley back with it. Over it comes, fade away, and that is a miss for Urban, and that is a rebound for UNB going back the other way.
I'm going to say, looking at Dang, she's been, so active on the offensive glass.
And an active shot coming through for UNB, a big three. They're up by 6, 7:10 left. And last touch by UNB, it remains Carleton ball. So Carleton taking a blow to the jaw, a little bit wobbly at the knees. They were administering a bunch of body blows, but could not find the tying basket. And here they are chasing it down by 6. Matosis Adderley back with it. She's been at the controls of this ship for Carleton. From the center arc. 1 of 11 for 3 so far for Carleton.
Yeah, again, not a lot of ball movement there for Carleton's offense.
And that was a beautiful pass by UNB from the 45. And that's a missed 3 and a rebound for Butts. A reload. Speedy. And that's a big 3 coming through for Carleton, for UNB. Right down Peter Kelly drive, and they're up by 9.
Again, when you let a shooter open, at some point she's going to make some.
And a run of 6-0 run to be exact for UNB on Carleton. Matosis Adderley trying to stop the bleeding, fumbling the ball, stumbling with the ball. Back over to Oliver. Around Speedy. The teardrop. And somehow the rim has become like a keyhole now for Carleton's attack.
Yeah, good shot. Good attack from Catherine Oliver right there. They got to be able to finish those.
And that is finished courtesy of Olskamp, 4th point in this quarter. And now they're up by 11 and 3 blinks of the eye.
Yeah, they're able to capitalize from Carleton misses.
8-0 run for UNB. Carleton not in dire needs yet, but must get a basket through. Here is a shot, and there is a splash coming in from Urban, who is 29% from long range.
Feels good to have Urban back.
Scoring 13 a game for Carleton, and that was a tonic required with them now down by 8. Speedy showing the confidence as the quarterback of this offense. Butts has been so far the star of this action. 5 left in the shot clock for UNB. Speedy. And this will go out of bounds and back to Carleton. So they get a stop here, but can they convert from points? That's the key now for Carleton, coach, with them down by 8.
Yeah, I bet that 3-point from Jackie Urban really gave them a bit of a life here. But I think they did a really good job defending UNB on this last possession and really forcing Speedy to put the ball on the ground and try to get to the hoop with time winding down.
Right now, Carleton shooting 38%. UNB 42%, but the big talking point right now, coach, is this. 5 of 12 from 3-point range for UNB, 2 of 11 for Carleton in this game.
Yeah, I mean, especially the style of play, you are looking to get open shots from shooters too.
And that will be a turnover by Carleton. Or this will be a big part, this will be a foul on UNB, a big part. This remains Carleton ball, 14 left in the shot clock, south of 5. And about to come back in the game for UNB will be Anne Bastien. And a timeout called here on the court. You're watching the 2026 Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec on CBC. UNB up by a score of 46-38 on Carleton from St. Foy, Quebec.
Delaney, Northwest Territories, the birthplace of hockey. Here, you'll find a community full of history and tradition. A community that Quaker surprised by transforming their arena kitchen into a Quaker breakfast bar. Stocked with our Canadian whole grain oats, it's now a place to gather, to eat, and to celebrate. We're proud to feed the passion for hockey in the place where it all started. Because we believe no matter where you're from, you've got this.
Hey Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Laval, Quebec, site of the Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec. Coach Diana Rossmo calling on this day one, game number one. And you look at right now, Coach, an underlying talking point in this game is bench points. 19-9 for UNB, a +10. They're up by 8. It's Carleton ball right now with them down by that scoreline of 46-38, and they have to get a run of points now before, if this game gets out of hand, in favor of UNB.
Yeah, I mean, with one of their starters in foul trouble early, you know, you got to rely on your bench, and that they were able to deliver in that first half.
And delivering again is Poulin with another 2 points to Ackerman. She's up to 18. They're down by 6, 4:40 left in this third quarter play. Here's Jenkins back with it. Bastien from Terrebonne, Quebec, just east of Montreal. Post play. The first touch in for McIntyre. Walled off, defended very well by Francis. Now it's a fight for it on the court. Another jump ball arrow, and this will go towards Carleton, and that is confirmed. So Carleton will get another free possession. Can they convert for points, or that's now 1 of 1? Can they go 2 for 2 in the last 2 sequences?
I mean, that's what you expect, right? You want to make runs, you want to make stops. If you're able to make a stop, you just got to be able to convert it, and let's see what. But UNB has been really tough defensively, right? They're able to guard their yard. They're able to limit rotation, and that's why they've been so successful so far.
Only giving up 57 points a game this year in the AUS is the UNB defending. Here is St. Pierre. Matosis Adderley, byline, repelled away. They get about 3.5 blocks a game, UNB this year. They had 3 in the foul 2 weeks ago. Jenkins, Bastien. Back over Olskamp off of her foot. St. Pierre will get it back over to Carleton.
Well, just a great defensive game so far from both teams.
And Poulin trying to go surgical. Can't find it. A rebound again for Carleton. In and around for 2 for Urban once more. And they're down by 4. They're now on a 6-0 run. Bastien watched by Matosis Adderley. Butts from the elbow. Here's Olskamp. Butts in the lane. In for 2, and she has been a poacher of points so far in the points in the paint.
You can see Carleton's rotation was right there, but she was underneath the rim and also a lot shorter than Katie Butts there, taking advantage of her height and finishing at the rim right there.
Height does have its advantages sometimes, Coach. It does have.
Absolutely. You can't teach height, that's for sure.
Especially when you go in the cupboard to get the cookies. And right now, Poulin can't find the cookies. And the rebound for Butts, and the foul goes against Poulin. 6-point lead, south of 3. And has momentum now shifted towards UNB.
Yeah, absolutely. They were able to make stops. They were able to get into their offense and finding, you know, the ball to their best player right now. So if I'm UNB, I'm comfortable with where we're at.
Well, so far, Carleton has fluffed it a few times in this quarter play. And now UNB starting to find its verve, their guile. They had that cutting edge. They showed it in the first quarter, was slowed in the second quarter. They were slowed in the early part of the third, but now finding their way through. And that's their way through for another 2 more points. And that comes courtesy of Gassam, and they're back up by 8.
I'm impressed with her, talking about height. I'm impressed with the way she's playing, and she's a forward at probably 5'8" at most, or 5'9", and she's able to create opportunities right there.
Oliver could not create that opportunity for Carleton. Here they come the other way. Their tails are up. They're hunting and hounding the Reds. They are looking to put the kill shot early in this third quarter for 3. Bullseye! Big shot coming through for Travers. Her second triple of the day. Carleton wants to talk about it, and in 2 blinks of the eye, it's now a 7-0 run for UNB over Carleton. What broke down for Carleton, Coach, in this sequence of play?
It's always communication. That's what it is. There's a lack of communication, and you can see in the frustrations on Carleton's bench. They leave a wide open shooter for a shot, and that's what it is. You're playing with percentage over playing personnel.
And so for that to change for Carleton, what has to be adjusted? Because right now UNB's found their success spreading the court around on the offensive end of the ball.
I believe that if you don't create rotation defensively, you won't be able to. You won't need to tag from those shooters so much, right? But again, when they shoot 41% from 3, you don't want them to shoot it. You want them to put the ball on the ground. You want to run them off the 3-point line instead of like playing percentage.
6 players so far have 4 points or more for UNB. Meanwhile, for Carleton, 3 players have 5 points or more. You talk about Poulin. She's got 20 of the 42 points, so she has pretty much half the points for Carleton. And we've yet to see really Captain Oliver get going. Jacqueline Urban has started to rev up a little bit in the second half, but again, playing on 3 personal fouls. So really did not have that much of a comfort level in the first half, being on the bench for the entire 20 minutes of play pretty much.
And I think that the biggest difference is the point spread on UNB's team versus Carleton. At this point, Kiana Poulin is taking a lot on her shoulders, so defense is collapsing a lot on her, whereas UNB, everyone is contributing in different ways, and so that opens up the floor a lot.
Could there be more adventure now for Carleton's offense? They were slow for a while, but now it is back to Matosis Adderley. Urban, size mismatch against Bastien, and she's fouled, and free throws coming up. And again, the hold it breath for Carleton, because anytime there's contact with number 22, they hope it's against the opponent, not her.
Absolutely. I think that's just a very smart play by Jackie Urban, going to the body and drawing a foul.
74% free throw shooter, trying to get Carleton out of this hole. They're in red ink, down by 10 with 2:01 left in this third quarter play. And she's 2 of 2. And you always know, Coach, the best remedy to catching up in a game is free throws and minimize the clock, essentially.
Absolutely.
Here's Butts. In traffic. And this will be a whistle, and this will be a foul, and this will be 2 free throws for Butts coming up. And who will this be against? There was a plethora of Ravens in the nest. And this might go against Poulin, who had the initial contact with Butts outside the area. And here is Butts at the line.
It started earlier on in this quarter with 3 back-to-back foul calls, and it kind of slowed out throughout the third quarter right now. So I'm happy to know that none of the teams got into foul trouble.
Well, that's good news. That's good news for both teams here. Katie Butts, 7 of 11 for 16 points. 1 of 1 from the free throw line. Tessa Fiber as they hold off for a split second to get things organized. It appears that Poulin is tying her shoelace. I wonder if she went double knot in the shoelace. And now here is Butts at the line. Up by 10 with 1:51 left in this third quarter of play.
It's a 19-11 quarter for UNB.
And UNB, again, they had that run of points. They went on a 7-0 run to get it up to 11, and now they're still up by 11. Poulin from the 45. Cash money. And they're down by 8.
When in doubt, you can just pull it if you're Kiana Jade Poulin.
Did she learn that from you at the Vanier days?
Oh, no, absolutely not. She is way better.
And here they are chasing this game. Butts. A rare miss for her. A rebound for UNB. A new fortune to work with. Bastien back with the courtesy of the rebound. Can he extend this lead before we hit the 1-minute mark? Bastien confirms that, and they're up by that scoreline of a 10-point lead.
Right, and they were able to go to the guard's body right at the rim, and Carleton's defense has to be a bit tighter on that.
Poulin's got 23 so far in this game, but they need more from the supporting cast, and this could be the one that could do it in Urban. Muscling her way through, using her deltoids, the twist and turn. And that's completely off the mark, and away comes Travers and the Reds. Bastien, 36 seconds left in this third quarter of play. On the turn it comes back over to Olskamp. In the lane, denied, out of bounds. And this should be Carleton ball, and it is confirmed.
And again, you can see this impact from Dang right there off that right-hand layup. Just that possession before, she wasn't able to help her teammates so much downhill, and that's why UNB was able to capitalize with 2 points.
Carleton trying to do some magical stuff, using their Ottawa street smarts perhaps, with 25 seconds left in this quarter, played down by 10. They've led for, I believe, for like a minute, not even, and it's been all UNB since then.
Yeah, let's see how they finish up this quarter. It's going to be important to find momentum in that fourth quarter.
St. Pierre, 10 left on the game clock, 5 left on the shot clock. For 3, smooth. And that will change that mental mindset for Carleton to be down by 7, then 10. We're through 3 quarters of play. UNB in control, up by a score of 57-50. You're watching the 2026 Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec on CBC.
Le sport en direct sur icitout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles. Des athlètes de grand talent. Des sports de haut niveau. Tout ça sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est simple et gratuit sur icitout.tv.
Welcome back here to the 2026 Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec. Head coach Diana Ross, Mo Khan here on this Thursday afternoon. Game 1 of 4 today, and right now we're into the final 10. Coach, we talk about the stats and how it's been so far, and you see at the Wilson stats, it's been edging towards UNB so far.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here from that halftime until that third quarter, Carleton was able to knock down a few threes already, and then coming back into the rebounding end, that was the most important piece coming to halftime. And again, they still have an edge over Carleton with 7 plus 7 rebounds. And so it's going to be important for both teams to finish possessions here.
And Butts hit that first field goal. They're up by 9 and a one and done for Carleton. And here comes Bastien. Here comes McAfee back over to Bastien. Butts at the high end. Watched by Dang. Butts has been the supply line so far, and we're going the other way. Some keys to this quarter now. You talk about transition finish. What's going to be key now for both teams to come back in this game or win this game?
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it. It's going to be finishing possession, not allowing offensive rebounding, right? Knowing who you're guarding. If she's a shooter, do not allow her to shoot it because, again, percentage has been improved in this third quarter. And last but not least, trying to limit transition offense as much as possible. Those are two teams that really take advantage of transition offense early on in this game. And so limiting that will allow you to, take care of business and finishing possession right there.
And here is Butts looking to finish off the Ravens. Well read by Urban. And you have to think, if Carleton were to lose this game, what if Urban was available for the full game and not only half the game? You can see the influence she's brought since her reappearance in the second half.
Absolutely.
And this is a whistle and a foul called on UNB. And we talked about it before, Coach. It's a 9-point gap between UNB and Carleton, but if Carleton does pull out the smash and grab, it might be free throws and stopping clock here to get those freebies without the clock expiring on them.
Yeah, and the other thing is defense has keyed in onto Kiana Jade-Poulin, right? She has been really successful so far in this game, and so she has 23 points, and if I was UNB as well, I would be able to close up the key on Kiana and forcing other players to make plays and to knock down short shots.
Urban. And she got hooked. Play on we go. And St. Pierre will get the touch.
Right. You saw the double team coming from Speedy onto Urban and being able to find St. Pierre off that cut.
Here's McAfee against St. Pierre on the help. Butts has got space to work with. Switch of play, Bastien from the flats. Speedy quiet so far in this game, and that is a whistle, and this will be a foul on Carleton. And by your body expression, you seem like you're frustrated as a coach seeing that play happen.
Yeah, third foul for Kiana. I mean, I guess you can live with better than if it was Jackie Urban with her fourth.
And they'll bring in a sub here. It appears coming back in the game for Carleton. Well, they'll wait afterwards. McAfee back with it. St. Pierre on her. Lovely play. Rejected by the rim by Gassam, and back with it is Urban.
I think Carleton is lucky with that. She was wide open underneath the rim here.
Urban. Poulin. She's pretty much played the entire game, KJ Poulin, for the Ravens. Matosas Adderley back with on the right. Twisting, turning, switch of play. Poulin's 5 left in the shot clock on the byline. Well read again by Bastien.
Yeah, UNB rotation early. They're active in the gaps. They're creating opportunities out of nothing. So.
And that rims in and in for Speedy. Her second 3 of the day comes at a crucial moment, up by 10.
We talk about transition offense mode. This is what we're talking about, and allowing shooters to shoot. So this is difficult for Carleton.
It's no longer a hill, but a mountain to climb for the Ravens. Back with it. And a tough play and a miscue from Dang. The Alberta native could not come up with the 2 with 7:02 left in this fourth quarter play. Yeah. Speedy. Butts, no good. Third by the cherry, no good, and she's fouled. And you can just see that she is a cheap destroyer of opponents. She had 3 attempts, and now will go to the free throw line to add more to the tally for UNB.
Yeah, UNB just has second win, third win, and being able to, get more opportunities and creating opportunities for a 2-point at the free throw line. But that's really off of offensive rebound. We talked about it earlier in the quarter. It's where it's going to be played.
You see the ability of Speedy and Butts, the ability, the imagination, the interplay that they have. Is the telepathy that they have between the two of them is almost second to none. And right there, Butts going to the free throw line once again.
I am going to give credit to Bastien and Gassam to play the defense that they've been playing all game long. They've been hounding Kiana Jade Poulin. They've been hounding Jacqueline Urban. And so without their defensive effort, I don't think they're in this position at all. Butts
on 18 points, leading the way for UNB. Exciting times for the Reds program. Back at the Nationals for the first time in 10 years. St. Pierre's 3. And a rebound, last touch by Carleton, and back to UNB it goes. And if UNB were to hold on, they will get Friday off and be in semifinals Saturday. And that's where these teams want to be, and not in tomorrow's constellation brackets.
Which is tomorrow afternoon.
5 and 7 p.m. Don't be late. Get to sleep in tomorrow if you want.
I'll be right here.
And right now with this, another foul called on Carleton. 6:32 left in this quarter play, and you can see Carleton's bench a little bit frustrated by the calls against them. Speedy again on 6 points. Twisting. Butts. Point 20. And that might be the point of finale here for Carleton, because they are chasing this game down by 14.
And again, as a veteran fifth-year player, this is what you expect from Katie Butts. Composed, leading her pack, being fundamental, being able to close out games.
And this is why they're the AAOS champions. They defend so well. Another stolen ball to get 10 a game this year. Around the protractor, Butts, point 22, the soft touch. And so far, Carleton's had no answer for Katie Butts.
Absolutely.
South of 6. Racetrack starting to become short for Carleton. From the flats. Bullseye! And that was a required remedy for them, down by 13.
Yeah, that feels good. They're still 4 for 14 from three-point line, which UNB are shooting 50% from the three-point line. And so I'm hoping that maybe for Carleton's sake, they have to start making some shots down the stretch here.
And that shot will not count with 5:23 left in this fourth quarter play. And you see the clever element of the pass here for UNB. They found the holes. And you talk about UNB, they're number 1 in Canada at 19 dimes per game.
Yeah.
And Coach, being in that position, you find that extra pass for a high percentage shot, which they've done so far. You'll kill off teams as they've done to Carleton this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's a wear and tear up until the end of the quarter, of the game, right? You want to rotate the defense. You want them to work extra hard. And so that creates offensive rebounds for the team as well when you create that much rotation.
And that ball is sent towards Moncton. And here comes St. Pierre on a 3-on-2. St. Pierre, Oliver, same spot, same reaction. Back-to-back threes, and they're down by 10. 10-point lead, 5 minutes left here. Does Carleton have one more run in them? And a foul will be on Urban, it appears, Coach, and that will be personal foul number 4 on number 22.
That's so difficult, Mo, because, you know, they just knocked down a 3, and then now it's just giving 2 easy points in transition where we can close up the gaps a bit earlier on and we don't end up in the situation here if you are Carleton. But that shows a lot of youth in Carleton.
And they're a young team, too. When you think about the overall composure of this team, the architecture of this team is first-year, second-year player. They have a lot of boatload of first-year players, but yet here they are at the Nationals for the 4th year in a row. And back with it will be a chance for free throws coming up for Alyssa Jenkins, shooting 60% from St. John's, Newfoundland. And Jenkins, again, 6 times she scored 10-plus points, so that's quality depth that UNB has coming off the bench this season.
Yeah, and you can see the stats are closing up a bit more, and the biggest stats that comes to my eye is really the rebounding piece, and obviously the 3-point percentage as well, but the rebounding piece is where it's at.
Jenkins missing the first free throw. Does Carleton have a stormer of a finish coming up? They're down by 10, south of 5.
It's March. Anything can happen.
It's early March. It feels like it's January out there. Today was a little bit windy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Stay tuned here. You're watching the 2026 Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob and Hilton Quebec on CBC. UNB up by 10 going towards the Final 5 of this matchup.
That's embarrassing. You know it's not embarrassing? Using FIG for a home improvement loan. A quick, simple, and transparent offer in minutes. Borrow better with FIG.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Welcome back. Dana Ross, Mo Khan. Game number 1. Coach, you were talking about before, veteran players being influential, and how key will they be now for the Final 5 of this matchup?
I mean, as you can see in this 4th quarter, Katie Butts really delivered when they needed her the most. She now has 24 points and 14 rebounds. Talking about veterans, same thing for Kiana Jadpoulin, which is a 4th year on the other side. She has 23 points and 4 rebounds. So again, both teams relying onto their veteran plays here.
Go-to time now, 9-point lead for the Reds over the Ravens. 11-point lead, I beg your pardon, for the Reds over the Ravens. St. Pierre. Every possession has to be quality finish for Carleton. Oliver, lovely pass, and a foul call instead. And going to the line will be Hannah Beatty, shooting 40% this season.
I love her patience, going into the key and finding her teammate wide open.
Beatty had 5 against McMaster, 9 times had 5 rebounds or more this season for the Ravens. And these free throws will be crucial for the lifeline. And that does not help the cause. They're now 8 of 12 from the line today. And you mentioned before, Coach, UNB 50% from long range, 7-14 in this game. And 0 for 2, Beatty with the rebound.
Yeah, this is going to be...
Matosis Adderley will go to the free throw line.
Sorry, I got caught watching instead of commenting there. But, giving an offensive rebound when you're set up to grab that rebound is, I'm pretty sure, every coach's pet peeve. It has to be.
Well, you are a coach, so I would imagine you would have that angst in your mindset if that does happen.
Absolutely.
And they're 0-3. Matosis Adderley is only a 54% free throw shooter. 6 times she scored 11-plus points, had 14 against Mac. She had 16-4 against TMU and the final loss on Saturday.
All right, here we go.
So what changes now? Do you press if you're Carleton?
I mean, yeah, you want a ball pressure, and I think in the second quarter when they did that, they were able to come back into the game. But UNB also has a bit more experience come down into this fourth quarter playing with that ball pressure. So got to throw bodies at UNB and trying to force them to create turnovers.
Carleton just trying to keep themselves alive. They've been to the last 3 finals in a row. Butts fouled. Dang will be the culprit on that. And they had them dead to rights, but just could not come up with the effort to finish by Carleton.
I might think that is on Kiana Jade Poulain, is it?
You pick your Raven. Dang, Poulain. But Butts is going to the line.
Either way, it is not a good thing.
No, and you don't want Katie Butts to go to the free throw line so far. 10 of 15 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line, 24 points, 14 rebounds. Another regular day for Katie Butts in the game of basketball.
Right, this is a crucial moment for Carleton to come back into the game down 10. And then UNB being solid with what they do. They did all season long, being able to defend and close out possessions. This last 4 minutes are obviously super important for UNB moving forward in the tournament, but also Carleton to stay alive.
The Ottawa native trying to put away the school from the nation's capital. She's been the capital point for UNB so far, and the 5th year trying to extend her season by 1 more game to Saturday afternoon, and she puts them up now 11. And psychologically speaking here now for Carleton, coach, they have to be pretty much perfect from here on in.
I don't know about perfect, but I definitely know that they got to start making shots. They got to start making stops. That's the reality. You got to go on to runs, but onto those runs, we got to score.
And she does indeed. 13-point lead, 4:05 left in this fourth quarter play. Does Carleton have the smash and grab in them to pull off the great escape in this fourth quarter? Matosis Adderley off the ankle of Dang, back into the hands of McAfee.
Great defense by UNB being able to collapse onto Carleton's player right there.
Bastien, around the protractor it comes. UNB in no hurry, trying to squeeze as much clock to find the quality shot in this sequence. Back out to the flats. Splash, Bastien. And could that be the dagger in the hearts of Carleton with them up by a score of 75-59. Timeout called by Carleton. And with 3:25 left, coach, it is now or never for Carleton.
Absolutely. I mean, UNB has been so solid defensively and obviously been able to convert offensively. They are playing with so much freedom offensively, right? A catch and shoot from the corner in transition. You know, when you're up by 16, you play with a bit less stress coming down into this fourth quarter with 3 minutes left.
The zip and zest from UNB, again, they had a lull in the second quarter, but they have been absolutely fabulous for 3 of the 4 quarters. And you see why. They're up by 16. And you look at these numbers right now. Butts on 27 points, 10 and 15. McAfee has 11. Jenkins has 10. Olskamp has 8. Meanwhile, it's all Poulain with 23 points in this game. And meanwhile, for Oliver, she's on 8. And it just felt like it's been disjointed for Carleton from tip to present. They just never found the rhythm. And when they did find rhythm, UNB found the answer to their questions that they threw at them.
Yeah, again, it comes back to being able to defend, and UNB has been, you know, fabulous all season long in defending teams and making opponents, you know, score lower than what their average is. And in this case here, where Carleton is relying heavily on Poulain to create and to score, now they shrink the court a lot for Carleton. And so, you know, kudos to UNB to be able to defend the way they've been defending all game long.
Well, UNB's been nice and patient so far, and for Carleton, they have to get themselves going here. They're in go time. Up next, Calgary and McGill from St. Foy, Quebec. But for Carleton, they're on their last rights, last lifeline pretty much.
UNB into a 1-2-2 here. 3-quarter court, pressure.
Really trying to take away the speed of Carleton with 3:22 left in this fourth quarter of action.
Back into a man-to-man. Sorry, player to player.
Matosas Adderley. Last touch by UNB. Remains Carleton ball with 3:15 left in this fourth quarter. Can they break the resistance provided by UNB, Carleton?
This is interesting, Mo. Both Jackie Urban and Kiana Jade-Poulin on the bench for Carleton right now with 3 minutes 12 left.
Getting a respite before they come on again, and a big two-pointer right there by Matosas Adderley gets it down to 14-point gap with 3 left in this matchup. High risk now for Carleton. The reward confirmed by UNB. Gassam with the finish, and they're up by 16.
Yeah, just a late rotation from Carleton's weak side player right there, allowing Gassam to, finish with an easy basket right there.
St. Pierre back in the controls. And that was nearly picked off. Oliver, 2 threes. And she's short on that, butts in the cleanup. And there's 2:30 left in this game, and it feels like the era of resignation is now all but confirmed by Carleton, with them chasing it down by this much.
Yeah, I mean, again, playing with so much confidence on UNB's side.
And this will be a whistle, and this will be a foul called on Carleton, and Butts can put this game away, add the insurance policy, and give UNB Friday off and back at it Saturday evening.
I mean, UNB defended so well all game long, and they were gritty on every single possession, make it tough for Carleton to score any kind of basket, any kind of opportunities they got. So really, hats off to UNB to defend the way they defended.
And for UNB, looking for their win over here. Again, they were 0-3 against Carleton in their lifetime in the head-to-head series. And they're about to get their first ever win against the Ravens.
That's an impressive stat.
Well, it's, stats are stats.
Numbers.
Numbers are numbers. And here is a number that Carleton has to chase. They're down big right now. They're down by a score of 16 with 2:10 left in this ball game. And it looks like the chance of a 4th straight finals appearance is evaporating for the Ravens. And for UNB, they'll have a chance to punch their ticket on Saturday. And here's reason why. Butts, the Ottawa native, got fouled by St. Pierre, will go to the line once again.
Yeah, that action is so tough to defend if you are Carleton. They're able to get to Katie Butts on a triangle play, and that's exactly where she wanted, right?
And, Coach, one thing to look at here, if UNB looking like they're going to advance to semifinal 1, I would imagine the folks in UNB's territory of Fredericton, New Brunswick, will be making the car ride up. Only a 7-hour drive. If you're driving, it's probably 5 hours. But I would imagine their fans will be coming up for the weekend if they do make it to these gold medal game especially.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, right? Obviously different programs, but you said it earlier, it's been 10 years since UNB got to, nationals, and so we can't take these for granted.
Dang. And a rebound back to Bastien, and they will slow down the ship, knowing that they're in complete control. Back to McAfee it comes, and they'll play the foul game now. And for Carleton, they'll be in the consolation bracket tomorrow evening. And that's not where they want to be, and that'll end their run of 3 straight final appearances.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is pretty much the end of it when, you saw Coach Sinclair sitting out Jackie Urban and Kiana Jade-Poulin, giving experience to the younger ones.
So take us now through the mind of UNB. They are about to get their first win here at the Nationals. They'll get a day off tomorrow. What is their prep work now towards whoever they face on semifinal Saturday?
Yeah, it's being able to review this game, cleaning up some of the rotation stuff, some of the decision making offensively, and then, staying for the next game, seeing who they are facing.
Well,
on Friday.
They'll have time now with Friday off to work
Absolutely.
with it.
And most importantly, resting that body.
I thought you were going to say have some poutine in Quebec, right? It's just they're out-of-towners.
That's fair.
And around 17-point lead for UNB. It's been an A-plus effort. Carleton, unfortunately, has been second place in this game, and UNB has been the gold medal team so far. Herrera missed 3. That puts them below 50% from long range. And for Carleton now, they get ready for tomorrow afternoon, and it's tough.
Right, you never want to lose the first game, obviously, as a competitor. But honestly, for a young team, it is necessary to go through these experiences. But playing an extra game is important. Finishing your season with a win is extremely important, right? And so, and then again, not many teams, actually only 8 teams are allowed to play in this tournament. And so you can't take it for granted. Come out tomorrow with a good mindset. Make sure that you win it. That's just how it is, right?
Well, it'll make your job a lot tougher next year for U of T because you got Carleton, you got all these Ontario teams that you have to go up against, and Carleton might be a team to watch out for years to come with your team as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's what you want, right? A good competition. As long as the women's basketball is in a healthy place, I'm happy.
I think it's beyond healthy. It is in great shape. And right now, UNB is in super shape. They're going to go to semifinals Saturday. We'll have one team confirmed. Next game up will be McGill and Calgary, which we'll have at 2:30 p.m. East. But we're going to probably have tip-off maybe a little bit later on.
Now you look at the best offense in the country. UNB was sitting at third with 77.7 points. They're at 80 tonight, and Carleton was, mid-pack with 65. So we're really in their average right now.
And you look at another stat to bring up. We talked about UNB only once to give up 70 points or more in a game, and Carleton will not hit that mark today. So they've hit their check marks today of average points scored and defending as well.
And honestly, at Nationals, that's what it is. You don't have to be special. You just got to be solid.
And there they go. The veterans will get the final send-off for this game, and they'll bring on the backups. And for Carleton, the air of resignation that their hopes of a gold medal and national title will come to an end against UNB.
Katie Butts really, really carried, and obviously having supporting cast as she does, it helps with being in this position here.
Not a bad game. 30 points, 15 rebounds. Could have been better.
I mean, that is incredible.
That is the gold standard of being incredible. And the rebound back out to UNB, and they can kill out the seconds here. A commanding performance by the Reds. They're going to win this game over Carleton 81-63 on this Thursday afternoon. Congrats to UNB. They're going to the semifinals. And for Carleton, they'll be relegated to the consolation brackets, and their run for a national title comes to an end in St. Foy, Quebec. Coach, thoughts?
I mean, great effort from both teams. Great battle in this first game. But like we said, they came back to what it is that they did all season long in terms of average and whatnot. But UNB defended really well all game long. And, Carleton, without Urban earlier in the game, was able to come back a bit, chip it away a bit. But not enough for what UNB has so far.
Well, for Carleton, we could talk about some of the numbers, Coach, and what they couldn't do against UNB. UNB did what they had to do, and again, the three-point ball was the lifeline for UNB. There were 8 of 17. Carleton at one point was 1 of 11 till late in the fourth quarter, but overall the number is far superior. UNB shot nearly 50% from the field. Carleton only 38%, but the scoring line was balanced for UNB. It was only KJ Poulin for Carleton.
Yeah, exactly. When that happens, defense, a great defense like UNB, it's easier to collapse and make it tougher on Carleton. And then earlier on in the game, it was rebounding. Carleton was able to clean that up coming back into the game. But after that, it was transition. Both of them were able to clean it up a bit more. And then last but not least, it was keying on, KYP, which is know your personnel, know your player.
Yeah, we'll find out who the player of the game is coming up right now. Poulin winning it for Carleton. I think it's only a formality who's going to win it for UNB. It won't be us, Coach.
I mean, are you surprised for Kiana Jade Poulin? Or for Katie Butts?
Well, she was the dominant force, the tour de force. She was the chief destroyer of her hometown team, and she's become the capital of dominance for UNB as they win over Carleton. And the final score in this matchup between these two teams was one-way traffic, 81-62 win for the Reds over the Ravens.
I mean, Katie Butts does have, a few accolades coming with her. 2 times AUS first team All-Star. She is UNB all-time rebounder. She is 4th all-time in scoring, 2nd all-time in blocks. She is her.
Katie does what Katie does, and that's what she did today. They win 81-63. Stay tuned here. We'll be back in 25 minutes from now. Up next, it's a CanWest RSQ battle. It is Calgary. It is McGill. Stay tuned here from St. Paul, Quebec. You're watching the 2026 Sun Life U Sports Women's Basketball Final 8 presented by Michelob in Hilton, Quebec on CBC.
U Sports on CBC, presented by Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Veriburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, BioSteel, Hilton Quebec, Michelob Ultra, Wilson, APAR, and by Sun Life.